the Sarofsky Labs freelancing panel, we dove pretty deep into the business of freelancing. There were some great questions and insights that came up, so let's dive in.
The rate thing's kind of interesting. It's no longer taboo to talk about. It's really funny because, you know, at the meetups and such, we're all talking about what's your day rate, and they will tell you.
Yeah.
Because and so it's kind of interesting to get that feedback. Okay, am I charging enough? Am I charging too much? So that's really interesting. Like we have a Slack, we have MoGraph, like Mo Chicago Slack channel, and we have a business channel, and we go in there and we ask the questions and say, hey, you know, what should I be charging? And they'll tell you.
Yeah.
It's pretty straightforward across the board.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm curious.
It's nice.
What's the lowest you would accept?
No, what is, I think you're getting to know me.
There we go.
I think you're getting to know me. So for like a direct-to-client thing, if you're gonna, and this gets into like getting into your question about the studio, do you ever pitch a job where you give an all-in number versus a day rate?
I did once.
Okay.
And that was through the agency for a specific, like, I don't know, CDW, I think it was.
Yeah.
And we knew it was going to take so long. It was going to take so much manpower and so many weeks. And at the very end of the day, it was like, this is the lump sum, and that's that.
Okay.
And that was pretty solid. I like when that happens.
Yeah.
Because, you know, and you just kind of know it. You know, you just kind of give them the schedule, and luckily this one was on schedule.
On schedule, yeah.
So it totally worked out perfectly, and that's that. That's my only experience, though. It's always been a day rate.
And was it just you working on it? Or
It was me and somebody else.
Okay.
So we were tag teaming it, and it was kind of perfect. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm curious about somebody else's. And is it usually like a lump, like an end lump sum, or is it a day rate for you guys usually? You know?
I do both.
You do both?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The agency you're working with.
Yeah, it depends on the agency, of course, yeah.
I'm direct to client. I usually do lump sum, but to agency.
Yeah.
I'll say
cool.
the highest earning freelancers I've ever met all do lump sum project bids like that.
Like
and
flat
it's
bid.
Yeah, and it's there's a few reasons. I think one is it lets you, like, I don't know if Sarofsky does this, I'm assuming probably not, but some studios, when they do bids, there's like some padding in there, right? Right? And there's different ways, different strategies you can use to do that. Like maybe there's like a render fee, or there's a creative fee, or something like that, or whatever. And it's hard to do that when you have a day rate, right? You can't pad your day rate. So, but if you have a project bid, you can sort of pad it a little bit. Also, there's this thing, and Christo talks about it a lot, Jonathan Stark, this value-based pricing thing, which does not exist if you're a freelancer that has a day rate. Like you're selling your time for that price tag. But if someone's coming to you and they want you to do the video because they know you or they like your work or something like that, there's a reason they're coming to you, and you can charge a premium for that, assuming that they'll let you, right? So you can definitely charge more when you do that. But it kind of changes the rules a little bit too, because then they're treating you a little more like a studio, and you have to.
I would say that's the point at which you're a studio.
Yeah.
If you're doing a bid, like we would do a bid, you're now a studio.
One thing I wanted to say about the project rate versus day rate thing is a lot of freelancers, especially probably in New York and LA, I know we know some of them, they go and they do the big project rate thing, but then they'll go and they'll freelance for buck for a long time because the work's so much more fun and they love it there. So like, you know, it's not like, well, now that I've gotten this much money for one day of my time, I can never go back. It doesn't work that way.
Sometimes they're doing both at the same time.
Yeah, which is amazing.
Yeah.
Or they'll freelance out. So like also, if you're now a studio and you've done a bid, like let's say it was more than 2 people that you needed, but you and your partner kind of come together and you're like, like what if we like kind of hand this off to this person, this off to this person, this off to, I mean, that can start to extrapolate out and happen, you know, because essentially you're just managing the client and their expectations.
Yep.
I don't know how I feel about this.
In agreement with it's like having different rates for different clients. And I know it's really common when people work for agencies versus for a production studio. It's, you know, because they have more money or so I just wanted to see here like what you guys thought.
My favorite gift.
And what you do.
We do the same for
You do the
like I
same?
don't have a different.
You do the same
for-
rate.
Yeah. I don't know.
I did have different rates for a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I charged you guys less than I charged another guy.
I appreciate that.
That
Thank you,
person.
yeah.
See, it's okay when.
Well, usually it's advertising agency rate, something they would, charge an ad agency versus a production company.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know.
I don't know how I feel about it, but
Me neither, but it is a thing.
it is a thing.
Sure.
And once, I will say, once advertising agencies started bringing a lot of motion designers in-house, I noticed a major bump in the community as a whole as to what the going rate of a freelancer was. So while they might not be charging, a motion designer might not be charging $750 a day, they certainly went from $350 to $500. Yeah. And that was a huge, change for
What do you
us.
expect for 500 a day? Like, what is that? Yeah.
You come in, you crank, and you
Just
could
total pro.
total pro.
Yeah.
You're a pro.
Total pro. Not to say that you wouldn't have to figure some stuff out here and there, because that's naturally what's going on in the studio. But you have experience enough with the tools that you at least know where to start.
Right.
Figuring it out. This is another one that you're going to work within our structure and not fuck shit up.
Yeah.
You're going to save things where they're supposed to be saved. You're going to save things out where they're supposed to be saved out. You're going to be communicating with everybody else on your team and your producer. Yeah. And likely at about that rate, you'll be one of the more senior artists on the team, so you might be mentoring a junior person. We do expect that of every person in the studio.
Yeah. It's extremely collaborative. Like we all sit with each other, help each other out. So.
Yeah. Okay, what is the hold system?
So the hold system is what we use. So when we have projects coming up and we are this hits and that hits and everything, we're gonna need hands in here. The hold system is how we reach out to people and check availability and put you on a hold. That is not a booking. They're different. People confuse these. They're like, hey, so my hold starts this day. What time should I come in? You're like, whoa.
You're just being held.
Yes. So when someone's holding your time, it could be for a month, it could be for a week, it could be for however long the project is, stuff like that. There's a first hold, and usually it's a second hold. Some people get more granular than that, they'll go for like third and fourth. But usually it's like you have a first hold or second hold. The first hold means that studio has the right of first refusal.
Dibs.
So yes,
Yeah.
dibs is a great way to put it. So if we have a first hold on you for the month of March, and somebody comes in on Monday and says, hey, I'm being challenged for this time, it means that we get to say no before you get to tell them yes.
Yeah. So if we reach out, you say, we agree that we're going to have you on a first hold for March, and then Framestore calls you and says, I want to book you for March. You say, I got to check with my first hold.
So Framestore would add you on a second hold.
Yeah.
So it's an order of priority.
Yes. And then we would have 24 hours to get back to you
It's a
and
Friday, we let you know on Monday.
Yeah.
Kind of everyone, your second hold should be really respectful of that.
say, yeah. And then we would either release you and say, go, do B, or we say, you're booked.
Yeah.
Tell Framestore to
Or if they're challenging, we have you for a month, but they're
Yeah.
challenging 2 weeks, we'll say, we can let you go for those 2
2
weeks,
weeks.
but we're keeping that first hold for the second half of the month.
Yeah.
I think it's really important if you're unsure what the company is releasing you for or for how long, you ask them. Because where you get into trouble is when you assume that because Framestore is booking you for 2 weeks, now they can book you the rest of the month too, and that's not the case, and that's kind of what it burns studios and it burns individuals because it puts a bad taste in our mouth because we were counting on you for this project we have coming up, and now you booked yourself somewhere else.
Yeah, like when we have a first hold on somebody, that is like the holy grail. Like
Yeah.
in my head, you're here working.
Yeah, as long as the work is here, you're most likely
You're gonna be here. Yeah. So that first hold is very important. Yeah.
I had a situation not too long ago where I had several people reach out to me at the same time asking about availability.
Yeah.
But no one actually said I'm putting you on hold. And I ran into some problems there because I made the assumption with one of them because they're like, oh, they basically, talked about billing and stuff like that, and I made the assumption
Yeah.
working with them, and so in another job, basically it caused complications.
Yeah.
And so like, what do you do in a situation where you're not sure if someone's actually going to put you? They should literally just say they're putting you on hold, because I have some people that will. One person didn't say that, and I didn't come in on a Monday. And they're like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I miscommunicated, but I should have been here."
Oh, interesting.
No, that's
Oh, wow.
a booking.
That's a booking.
Yeah.
And I would just follow back up with them, just say, to be clear, you want a first hold from this time to this time. I will let you know if you're being challenged. Just come up with some formal writing for like the confirmation of a hold, and then some formal writing for a confirmation of a booking. If you're coming close to a hold, it's totally natural for you to reach out and say, hey, I'm just checking in. Is this hold going to turn into a booking? Start using the language and kind of teach your clients. Because again, not everybody is like in our community. And even if they are, they might be new or, yeah.
And I would also say, like, in this case, it sounds like the client miscommunicated with you, but I would still take the approach of like, how is this my fault? How can I prevent it next time? And it's exactly like, just always confirm, never assume, even if it's a studio and it's a producer at a studio, that they understand how it works. Yeah.
But you're an LLC, but you freelance as
Right.
the LLC.
I am not.
You're not, Bill?
I'm not an LLC, and I'm
You
not
should
an
talk
S
to your
corp.
But
accountant.
you mentioned quarterly taxes.
I do. I do still have to pay those because you, as a contractor, I will get penalized if I don't.
Gotcha.
So I've been told. so
Yeah.
I just do what I'm told.
As
when
a
I'm-
taxpayer, you have to pay taxes.
Yeah.
And no one's taking them out of Lindsay's paycheck because it's not a paycheck, right?
They don't want me to keep all my money.
Yeah.
Right away.
So it has nothing to do with being a corporation. It's
You
just,
split between like, oh, I have a stack of 1099s. I should pay this quarterly, or who's going to check or penalize or that sort of thing.
it's so basically one way or another, if someone's paying you, you have to pay taxes on it.
Yeah.
If you get a paycheck, it's already taken out. You don't even think about it. If your day rate's $500 a day and I book you for a week and I pay you $2,500, the government's, I'm going to tell the government at the end of the year, I paid you $2,500. They're going to go look and see, did you pay whatever your tax bracket is? Did you pay the 20% or 25% of it? So you have to, every quarter, write a huge check to the government, and it's hard because you have to estimate, because you don't know what your tax bracket is till the end of the year. So you estimate and you try to get close, and it's better to be over than under from the government standpoint. You'll get penalized if you're under. But from your standpoint, like if it's over, if you pay them too much, they give you a tax refund, but then you could have like invested that in stocks or something. So it's a weird kind of thing. Talk to an accountant.
Yeah.
That's the advice. Yeah, right. But you could see, you don't have to think about this when you're on staff.
No.
None of this matters to you if you're on staff. This is the kind of stuff you have to learn about if you're a freelancer, though. Yeah. I'm glad you brought that up, JC. This is something that I've gotten into disagreements with people about. Some people are like, I never do anything without a contract. And I don't agree with that.
Yeah.
And when they say contract, they mean like legal sounding stuff, legally words where you sign and then you sign it and all that. And I think that, first of all, it's unnecessary because if you have an email and you agree to it, that's a legally binding thing. But also it just puts up this extra wall in front of you and the client. And my philosophy is I'd rather get burned once or twice in my career by like a truly bad actor, but everyone else thinks I'm just easy to work with. Like that's me. So I almost never had a formal contract with a client when I was freelancing.
If you want to learn more about freelancing in the world of motion design, check out the Freelance Manifesto, available in paperback or Kindle formats. And check out SarofskyLabs.com to find out when their next live session will be held. Make sure to subscribe if you like what you saw here, and thanks again for watching. We'll see you for the final video of the series.